During an appearance on Sean Hannity's Fox News show, Dr. Oz shared his opinions on the country opening back up in the middle of this pandemic. Let's hear what he has to say.
Dr. Oz, help us. Well, first, we need our mojo back. Let's start with things that are really critical to the nation where we think we might be able to open without getting into a lot of trouble. I tell you, schools are a very appetizing opportunity. I just saw a nice piece in The Lancet arguing that the opening of schools may only cost us 2 to 3% in terms of total mortality. And, you know, that's any life is a life lost. But to get every child back into a school where they're safely being educated, being fed, and making the most out of their lives with a theoretical risk in the backside, it might be a trade-off some folks would consider. We need to get industry back, supply lines. I mean, things that we can do without putting the nation at risk.
He called this appetizing, which I thought was a weird choice of words. And he makes it sound as though 2 to 3% mortality for school-aged children, no big deal. But let's look at the numbers, okay? So right now, there are 56.6 million students who attend elementary, middle school, and high schools across the United States. If they all go back to school right now, based on the figure that he mentioned, we would lose 1,680,000 students, teacher, and staff. But it's appetizing, delicious.
So I'm going to defend Dr. Oz in part.
No.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Is it because he's Turkish? I don't know. Okay,
You're
no.
crazy.
It's not because of that. And then Anna and I both have different theories as to why he said it, or maybe they're the same theory. We haven't shared. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So he stated it wrong in two different ways, and he's since come out and apologized, saying, "Boy, I misstated it." One is calling it appetizing. Very poor choice of words. Disastrous choice of words. Okay. So I think everybody gets that. He gets that. That's easy. Okay. But the important thing is the numbers. So did he really mean we lose 2 to 3% of the kids? What's the big deal? I mean, let's line them up. Can you imagine if it's not a virus or something else? Line them up against the wall. We shoot 2 or 3 of them. But hey, anyway, the economy's back. So of course that couldn't be countenanced in any other situation. But I actually don't think he meant that. Because I went and looked at what he was referring to with the Lancet study. And because losing 2 to 3% of kids, I immediately thought that doesn't make any sense because the mortality rate for kids is under 0.1%. No doctor or scientist believes the mortality rate for kids with coronavirus is 2 to 3%. So already there was something off. So looking a little bit more at what the study said, what it means is that the overall mortality rate from coronavirus will be 2 to 4% higher if you reopen the schools. So for example, right now we've lost over 25,000 people in America. So 1% of 25,000 is 250 people, 4% would be 1,000 people. So if you apply those numbers, it'd be 1,000 people, not 1.6 million people extra. By the way, now that's my explanation of what I believe the numbers are saying in that study and what he was referring to. So it's not quite as monstrous as it appears. Having said that, saying, we lose 1,000 more people, let's get the schools back open, also not a great idea. And by the way, this is over 25,000 is where it was a couple of days ago. It continues to increase. And if you went back and opened things up, you'd get a number much larger than that. And the 2 to 4% would be correspondingly much larger as well.
Are kids I don't know, are they balling these days? Do they drive themselves to school and then come back to their 1-bedroom apartment and chill with other children all day? There are adults that they live with. I mean, anyway, it's just
no. That's why. Can I just say
irresponsible to say the least? Of course,
Anna. That's why. Even though the mortality rate among kids is very, very low, it drives up the overall mortality rate by 2 to 4%. Because yes, they have parents, grandparents, etc., and that's why the schools are closed because they're more worried about the rest of us than they are even about the kids. And so that's why. Is it irresponsible? Of course. And look, why is Dr. Oz going on Fox News? Why do they love him so much? I mean, if Sean Hannity says, Dr. Oz, please educate us, that already means, you've got on a wrong path. And so he's done that a number of times now during coronavirus alone.
So here's what my theory is. So he opened his argument by saying we need to get our mojo back. And I'm like, mojo, okay. And then I thought about how miserable people are being stuck at home with their own children and how desperately they want their kids to go back to school. So then I thought maybe it's because his kids are driving him crazy. But I just quickly looked it up. He has 4 children of his own. However, he also has 4 grandchildren, which makes me think that his kids are much older and he doesn't have to deal with it. But who knows? Maybe he's looking out for his own children who are losing their minds because of their children. I don't know.
Look, I had a theory too, and I don't think either one of our theories is necessarily correct because of his age. And he goes on Fox News all the time, so I think that contractually you must say 2 to 3 insane things per month in order to keep your job with Fox News. I don't know if he's technically paid by them or not, but the things he says on there are absurd either way. Yeah, my theory was very similar to yours. It's just an extra layer. If he's got any kids that are still at school, which I do, I have a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, we're having to be their teachers in a sense. Yes, they're zooming into class for half an hour, et cetera. Then they get a giant amount of homework because it isn't homework, it's their normal classwork. But then we have to check that. So we're all basically homeschooling our kids, and it's driving us crazy. Okay? It's the hardest thing in the world. And so, look, I already appreciated teachers, but we also have a second, like today, one of my kids is making fun of me. They're like, Dad, my teacher has not just us, but 32 of us that they got to do this for. I'm like, first, and you could tell they go to a public school from the number 32. But anyway, I'm like, yes, but that's their only job. Daddy has a couple of jobs, plus now I got to homeschool your ass. Okay. Anyway, so that's why parents are like, maybe we open it back up, regain our mojo a little bit.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.